So we look forward to that in future. So my social media handle is Mohammed Adnan. You can connect me through LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Mostly I will be active on LinkedIn or Twitter. So those are my introduction about that. So there are some cool features which recently updated like from December onwards in Power BI. So I'm going to cover those things. These are the agenda for today's discussion. One is the visual calculations, which is recently released in February 2022. If you have not yet seen Microsoft announcement, so I recommend you to go and check out that after this session. And another thing is field parameters. I am really love this option, the field parameters, and it helps a lot of things. We can improve our things. And obviously the calculation group, which is a kind of breakthrough, I can say, in terms of productivity. And DAX Query View is also an important feature which is recently released in like I think December 2023. And then on object formatting, they are since along like 6 months to 1 year time, but still they are keep on improving the features about that. And one of the feature which is dynamic subscription. This is the kind of highly watched kind of thing in my YouTube channel on my YouTube channel. So through this platform, I am able to give the introduction about this dynamic subscription so that people can aware how they can use this feature without using Power Automate. All right, without further ado, so let's start with visual calculation. But for anything which is here, I think everything here, whatever we are going to discuss today is in preview itself. So we need to click on file. And first of all, you need to download the latest Power BI desktop version, which is February 2022. They released like 2 days back. And then you need to click on file, options and settings and options. So this will open up a new window. So sometimes my PC gets lagged when especially during the presentation. Okay, so when you click on the global features, here you have the preview features where these are all the ongoing preview features. So this is many things are here. So at the bottom, you can see there is a visual calculations and the DAX Query View. And what we have on object interaction. Yeah, on object interaction, this thing. And also, yeah, almost better you can check out everything. And also here you can see the field parameters. Yeah, almost everything is in preview itself. They are keep on changing the things. Right now, what I'm going to show you is the latest feature, what it is available. It may or may not change or even add up something in future. So once you are done so you need to restart your Power BI file, and then you need to go ahead with that. So we'll start with visual calculation. So visual calculation is nothing but we have calculated column in Power BI where it is actually attached to the model. We also have a measure we can create based on our requirement. So the visual calculation is basically it will just stay within a particular visual. So let's say you can say this is a metric visual, and this will actually stay only within this visual. It is not going to be show you on your fields pane on the right side. Basically, you will not able to see how you are able to see the measures and the calculated columns. It is actually going to be within the visual itself. And you're not able to reuse the same thing in another visual like how we used to do it using the regular measure. So that's one limitations are there. And this is really, really new. So it will have a new features add up in future as well. But it really helps a lot to increase our productivity. So let's say, for example, here I have the internet sales on this particular matrix, and I want to have this previous row information on this row in order to subtract this. So in this case, right now I have 2011 and then January, February, March. So I'd like to see the difference between the previous month sale to current month sale. And I'd like to see the percentage of that. So here you can see this is 466 and this is 469, which is the like 0.74 percentage when compared to previous month. It is actually not, it is actually less when compared to previous month. So that's what we are showing up here information. That's one thing. Another thing here is like the running sum. We want to have a running total, which is 469, which is showing up here. And this is 466. So 469 plus 466, it is 936. It is keep on adding these things here until the end of this year. And now in the new year, it will going to start a fresh calculation here. Now you must say that these are all the things which we can do it at regular measure itself. Yeah, absolutely. You can do these things in a regular measure itself, but for that you need to write some line of DAX code. So here you can see this is a running sum and this is another measure. This is basically the visual calculations and this is the regular measure. So here you can see we have the same result here, but the simplicity what it brings here in the visual calculation that actually plays the role. So now how to do that is basically, so let me copy this and open in a new window. So here, if I open up this field pane, now you can see it here. This is internet sale, which is regular measure. And in the last, we have internet sales running sum. This is also a regular measure. And these three things, which is a previous, delta, and running sum, these are all called as visual calculations, where you can see this thing, the effects, and then the logo here, which actually refers to the visual calculations. So I'd like to remove these things from here. Now you can see this is internet sales and internet sales running sum. So I will also remove this one. So just keep the internet sales. And if I go to this regular measure, which is showing up here, sum of internet sales amount, as simple as that. So now I would like to have this previous information, right? To do that, basically, I need to click on this visual. Sorry, here on the top, you can go to the home. Let me expand the ribbon here. All right. So in the home tab, you can see a new option added here on the right side under the calculation option, which is new calculations. Previously, it was just new measure and quick measure. Now we have a new calculation. So select this visual and click on new calculations. Then this will open in this view where the matrix will convert into a table view. And here you can see the result at the bottom. And in the between, you will see a formula bar has opened up here. So here we need to give the name of this, which is a kind of the same process what we used to do it for calculated column and measure. So I'd like to give this name here as a previous. And then here I need to write a formula. So it is not a kind of exactly the same DAX formula which you need to write. It's more simplified version here. And if you click on this FX icon here, this will give the list of existing template what we have. Here we have a running sum, moving average, percent of parent, average child versus next kind of thing. So if you want to use that feature, then we can use that. If it is not, then we can use a kind of easy way, which is previous. So this is actually referring to the previous version. So previous, how you want to go here. So here I would like to use here expressions where which is the sales amount, internet sales. And here I would like to go -1. Or you can just click on enter itself. So it will by default, it will take the previous version of that. So now you can see the result here 469 and it's showing up here 469, 466, it is showing up here 466. It is as simple as that. So right now we are using this here at year and month level. So this is easily doable using the regular DAX function. But what if we have a situations like I would like to remove this thing. So calendar, I will remove this one and also I will remove this thing. And I would like to add here the sales territory, for example, sales territory region name, English region name. Okay. All right. Now I have added here Australia, Canada, France, Germany kind of thing. And this is the internet sales. And you see it has automatically taken the previous row within the particular visual. It means it actually performs within the visual level. It actually not perform at a model level. So that's the main thing which you need to keep in mind. And you may also notice the formatting is not as per the thing here, which is the rupee symbol is not there and it is not there in even the decimal also. So right now this is early stage. So we don't have that option now. Maybe it will come in future, the formatting and other options. But for now, this is the way how it is. So we can easily add the running to the previous row for this same thing. Similarly, if you want to add more thing, again, select this visual and click on new calculations again. And click on effect icon. And here, for example, I would like to add the running sum. So running sum, it is added here, the formula automatically, the running sum as well. And here I just need to pass the field. So here I'd like to add, this is the internet sales and the hit enter. That's it. So it has automatically taken up within the visuals and it has calculated those formula here. How simple it is, right? It is really simple and it stays within this visual itself. And it has also taken the grand total as well. That's pretty good. And if I want to compare this with the existing running total formula, which I have already did, but it is actually based on the date period of calendar. So let's go back to the previous one, visual calculations. This is internet sales running sum. Here, if I click here, so basically I need to write these many tags here. So calculate internet sales and then filter all selected date, and the full date alternate key is less than or equal to max of date key. So this is the formula which I need to read, which I need to write in order to get this running sum. So instead of that, I can just play around with that by just typing running sum and then give the formula of that. So now we have added this thing. Now how to edit these things? Because in the measure we can select these things and then select here and use this option, right? But for visual calculation, and this is stays within the visual. So we need to again select this visual. And here on the right side, you need to click any one of these things, which is, for example, if I click on the running sum and then click on edit calculation. So click here, then it will open up this again, the same window. And here you can see the formula here, which is running sum, internet sales, and the lower parent. So now the running sum which I have showcased you is running sum of that internet sales, which will actually go until end of this thing. So let me show you one thing here before going a level down. If I go back to this one, and if I see here, there is no what is it, this category and subcategory kind of thing. There is nothing here. It's just the region name here. And if I add some more to this one for this visual, sales territory. Okay, this is a geography. And if I add the sales territory group on top of that. Now it is showing up here Europe, North America, and Pacific. If I drill down one step ahead, and now you see the running sum is actually calculating for continuously. It is not resetting it at this every sales territory level. So in order to reset this for your requirement, then you need to edit this formula. And that's what we have option about here on this one. It's going to work the same way, but I'd like to show it here. So if I click here and edit calculations, and now you see this is the lowest parent. Lowest parent is nothing but if you have a multi-level of hierarchy on the row section, for example, on this matrix, here I have the calendar year and month. So month is the lowest level. For every lowest parent, it has to reset. For every change, it will apply only till the lowest parent, and then it will reset for the next parent level. So here in this case, it will just do the running total for 2011, and it will calculate the every month. And for the next year, it again starts from the new beginning. It has taken up this value and it has taken this value and start a new beginning here. Sorry, this is not the formula. This is the formula. So here 495, and you can see this 495 is taken up here for the 2012. And after that, it has taken plus 506. So it is 1002. This is how the running total will work. This is a kind of reset. What to say? It's kind of partition. Yeah, that's the exact word I can say. It's partitioning it by the parent level. That's how it is. So you can refer to the documentation available, which is recently released on the Power Platform blog. There are a lot of cool options available in order to reset these things. We can come back to this if you have time for the next, after covering the next topics. Okay. All right. I'd like to give it a pause here if there is any questions on the chat.
The context is within the visualization, correct? And then
exactly.
And then the performance will also improve because it's just within the visualization. When the visualization is on, that's the only time it gets into the real calculations.
Exactly, correct.
And it has a predefined more function than DAX, correct? Because now it has more of your running sums and everything directly available there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And this is on the top. I have just added a line graph here, which is showing up this monthly sales plus moving average. So if I click edit here for this moving average, the formula which I have written here is moving average of internet sales for the last 3 months. That's how it is. If I click here, and the window size is basically the 3 months. So for the recent 3 months, it will average the moving average. That's what it is showing up here on the green signal. But if we want to write it in a DAX, so it will be kind of some line of code which we need to write, but this is a very simplified version here. All right. This is the thing. Moving on to our next topic. Yeah, my favorite, which is the field parameters. This has been a long for kind of like 6 months to 1 year period, I guess, but this is still the good one. All right. So if I look here, for example, all right, this okay. So here we have it, the field parameter. On the top, I have selected here the reseller. We basically, let me tell you the context here. We have a two-fact table. One is the internet sales, another is the reseller sales. And so for the internet, for the reseller sales, I'd like to see the categories, business type, and product line. That's what it is showing up here. But for the internet sales, I'd like to see it by marital status and the gender. That's what I want to see here. So the value which is showing up here, it is now showing me the internet sales. And if I select something here on this one, this is now showing up marital status, and this is the value. And if I click gender, then this will go marital status inside to that, it will show the gender value here. So this is the married and this is single, and the married are female and male, and for single this is female and male. These are the value of internet sales and this much of the percentage here. But if I want to show it in a reverse way, like I want to look into first the gender, and then I would like to see the marital status, then also it is possible. So now if I expand this, this is now showing up here female and male, and inside of that I can see married and single, and again married and single. This is the percentage of coverage here. And this is only for the internet sales. Now, if I click on this reseller sales, let me clear this too. So in the reseller say, I can see this business type and product line. And now the value which is showing up here, this is coming actually from a different fact table entirely. But even though everything goes within a single visual, but we can play around using one visual with the multiple options here. If you have a kind of page limitation shortage kind of thing, then you can make best use of this. So how I did this one is basically we need to again open the preview features, enable those options. And then if you go to modeling tab on the top, you have a new parameter where you can see this numeric range and fields. So numeric range was since the beginning of Power BI, it was there where we can have this what if kind of usage. And here we have a fields parameter. So if I click on that, here I have option about fields, and here you can give it a name here. And here we can bring customize as per our need. We can add this slicer, we can add the columns here, we can add the measures here, everything, whatever we want, we can use it here. So this is how we can just drag and drop and then add to the slicer to this page. That is what I did here. This is one slicer and this is one slicer here. But to go in level depth here, now this is the way how you need to add a new field parameter. So right now, this is all of the existing parameters. So if I want to edit this parameter, how to do that? So basically on the right side, it is added, seems like a table itself, but you click here, it will be like this fields parameter categories. This is the name I have given here. So if I click on this, then I have added these things, which is basically the 4 columns from the table. One is marital status, which is coming from this internet sales. And then the next we have it here as a gender, which is coming from this dimension table. And this is a business type, which is coming from a reseller business type. And the product line, which is also coming from the same table. So this is basically, so I think if it is not clear for you, let me create a dummy one. So new parameter and the fields. This is, I would like to give a test here. So from here, for example, the dim geography, English region name, you can drag and drop here. And you can also pick another table, which is dim category and then English product category name. Just drag and drop here. You can also realign this one here if you want. And then you can also just double click here, change the name here, which is category name. And this has to be region name. So this is not going to have any impact on your existing table columns. So click on create. This will add actually a slicer on the page, and this will create a table on the right side. Yeah. Now you see we have a two category name and the region name here. So if I click on this one, this is how it will look like. So we'll have this name of the visual, which is name of the value, which is showing up on the slicer. And the name of is the DAX function, which is used it by default. And this is the column name, which you had drag and drop onto that area. And this basically the sequence, how it needs to visualize on this slicer. So that's how it is. But if we look into my thing, which I did already, so if I click here and then FP categories, so we can customize it based on our need. I just added one more thing here, which is comma, and then I added here the internet. So which is basically, if I expand these two things, this parameter test and FP categories. So this is, you can see only one column here. And here you can see one and another one, which is the category group, which is showing up here. It is nothing but I just added a comma and then added this internet and internet. Just want to differentiate. This is two is for internet sales and these two are for reseller sales. That's what I added here. So when you add a new column, then it will add a new thing here. You can also double click here and then rename things here like you usually do for your regular columns. That's how it is. So it is fully customizable here, but you're not able to see it information here, but you can customize directly from here. Double click here and edit those values from here. All right. So this is the two things which I did here, and that's the only thing which I added here on this particular slicer. So on this slicer, I use here the dim categories, which is showing up all the value. If I add a new slicer on the page, and let me add a new slicer and bring this thing. Now I can see only the business type and product line, like how I can able to see here, because it is actually filtered using another slicer. That's why here. But you can also see one more thing here, which is category is coming from this table, and this internet is actually coming from a different table. So this is actually another thing which I created here. So let's click on this particular visual. Here you can see I have used 4 different measures here. One is internet sales, which is the internet sales, another internet sales percentage, and this is reseller sales and reseller percentage. So a similar thing which I did here, added a new additional column here, which is for the internet and reseller here. All right. So I use the same thing here and use the group options on this as a slicer. So now you may think about these two are coming from a different table and how it is actually filtering the value. Yeah, here you need to just focus a little bit more because it's kind of jugaad, I can say. It's kind of trick which I used here. But if you look into the relationship here, there is no relationship between these tables. If I add a new thing, if I add categories here and this thing, and also this thing, you see there is no relationship between these, but still it is filtering. So the way how I did is basically, but before that, I'd like to show you one thing here. Here, this is a matrix table. Usually you can see it here. And on the rows, I added it here from this FP category, the first field parameter table. That is, it is going to have everything which is marital status, gender, business type, and product line. So that's the thing which I added here. But on the value section, I actually use the value is coming from a different field parameter table, which is basically the another one, which gives me only the internet sales of these values. So now this row actually filtered by one field parameter, and this is actually filtered by another field parameter, which is on the top here. And how these both of them are linked together is basically I use the Singh slicer options. Now you can see there is one thing hidden here beside to this. I wantedly kept this beside the just to show a little bit here, because sometimes if I forget, then I'm not able to give the demo. So here I use this slicer, which is you can see this is coming from the FP categories, and this category is also coming from the FP category itself. But this slicer is actually coming from the another one. So in order to sync these two things without using a model relationship, we need to use the sync slicer options. So for that, we need to go to view and then click on sync slicers. And you can see it here. If I click on this particular, let me move this to the right side so that it will be easy. All right. So here, if I select this one, which is showing up here for me on this page, which is sync and view. And here this also Singh and view. Then what is a new in that? So here we have advanced options. I believe most of them have not explored these options, but this is really cool. So enter a group name to sync selection to any other visuals with that group name. So here I have given the name here as FP group. And for this thing, also I have given the same name, FP group. And it is must for you to give the same name. And there are two options here. One is sync field changes to the other slicer. Another is sync filter changes to the other slicer. So if you use this option, sync field changes, then whatever you are going to change on this slicer, it is also going to change on this slicer. That is not we need. We actually need only the value has to change, not the field. So that's why I uncheck these options. And here I have the sync filter changes to other slicers. So it means whatever I'm going to select the value here, it will try to check that value on the other slicer as well. If it is there, then it will apply the filter. So right now the reseller is available here, and even the internet is also available here. So whatever I'm going to filter it here, it's going to filter on this particular visual as well. And because of this filter, which is actually the other table, this value gets filtered. That's how it actually works, right? This is how the triangle works. So if I select on internet, it's actually filtering these two values, and the effect it is showing up here on the matrix and also the values here. And if I click on the reseller, it's also changing the values on this thing, which is showing up here, reseller, which is showing up here, business type, and the value is showing up here. And also you can see both the values here. And another good option is like, we can, if you want to filter, then you can filter it here. But if you don't want to filter, you just want to see both the values, then also you can just uncheck everything. Then you can see all the values here. But this is not relevant because these two are coming from different fact tables, and also the way how we need to visualize the data is something different. So I just want to show you that this is also possible. All right. So I talk continuously. I'd like to give it a pause if there is any questions for this or not.
There are certain ones you want to take it up from here. I'll check it out for you. So
I will
there
have a
any
look into that.
limitations? You have many. I can check any limitations on type of visuals that can be used for the visual calculations. That was a question from the visuals one.
Okay, so for the visual calculations, yeah, there are certain limitations available. So after this meeting, I will send you the link for the documentation because that is pretty new, baby, I can say. So it has some limitations. So it is applied only for the, I tried it for the line chart and the matrix, it works fine. But for other like stack column chart, it may have some issues, but they will bring everything in future.
Yeah, obviously it always takes the time with Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and can we give a running sum in a row context? That was the next one. Because it was in a visual context, correct? It was in a visual
Yes.
context.
Technically, we can. Yeah, we can actually. The way how it is presented here, right? So the running sum actually in the documentation, it's there actually. How we want to go the running sum? You want to go by row, or you want to go by column? There's an option available. So if you specify that to be column by column, then it actually adds the value in the running sum in the column level. That is possible. And I can also show you the documentation. I will send you the documentation for that.
Yeah. Kindly touch and explain on data overs in simple language, please. Someone is asking.
Yeah. So as per my knowledge, actually, to be say, Dataverse is a kind of tool which is a common data source. Initially, this was developed by in collaboration with SAP, Oracle, and Microsoft because these three are the top cloud providers. So they have worked with multiple Fortune 500 companies. So the team from three of the companies have collaborated together and build a common data model where it contains the basic things required for every organization. So we build everything on that. And later on, Microsoft has converted that into a Dataverse, and that's how it is now. And Oracle has taken us a different path, and SAP has taken a different path now. Maybe SAP, I think it is SAP HANA, but I'm not sure on that. But for Oracle, I'm not sure on that as well. But the Microsoft is that's the story of that. So
Okay.
it
I think
has
and
pre-configured things.
then sorry
Yeah,
to cut you short. I think you have much more things to show on the demo. I think let's take that one first, and then we take
yeah,
questions in the end for now. Okay,
yeah,
because I think you have still 4 to go, and I really don't want to
yeah.
miss any one of them for that matter.
Yeah, sure. I will just quickly finish this. All right. The calculation group is basically the next topic. So this is basically helpful in order to increase the productivity as well. If I like to go you the demo here first. So here I have this current year, previous year, and year over year growth. And on the right side, I have this. Sorry, on the left side, I have this year, and then I have this month here. And then, sorry, this is the color actually. So here I can say, if you look into this year itself, I have the internet sales for the current year, and this is the internet sale for the previous year. And what is the year for year growth here? That's what is showing up here. And similarly, I have it for the reseller sale. These are the two things. But if you want to add something else, we can also do that. But it will actually apply for current year, previous year, and year over year dynamically. Previously, it was only available on Tableau Editor, which was a kind of external tools from the third party, which is also certified from Microsoft. But most of the companies are not allowing to use that. Maybe that's the reason Microsoft has brought up the same feature inside to Power BI itself. For that, again, you need to enable this preview feature, and then you need to go to model view. It is only going to be visible for you in the model view. And on the top, you see we have a new options under calculation, which is calculation group. So when you click on that calculation group, it actually give you one option. It's similar to a table itself, but it is not a table. It's already 12:30. Okay, all right. So we need to give, this will be how it will added here, a new calculation group, and instead of that, we need to add multiple calculation items. So by default, it will be, this is the one, this calculation item, and this is selected measure. Selected measure is also a formula. It is nothing but what you have selected on the particular visual, it will apply to that measure. So if I show you the existing one, which it is there, which is, I can see calculation group here. All right. So this is the one which I added here, calculation group. And inside to that, I can see there are 3 calculation items which I added here. So in order to add any calculation item, just click on the name here, calculation item. It will open up this window. And here you can see multiple options here. You can add multiple things, which I added here, current year, previous year, and year over year here. If you want to add a new one, then you can just need to click on this new calculation. And then just here, it's taking time. All right. So I'd like to give a difference here, CY minus PY kind of thing. It's just for our calculation, right? So here it should be either we can use the same formula here or we can just refer to the old one. Okay, let me just quickly show the existing one, which is current year. For the current year, it is just the selected measure, nothing more than that. And for the previous year, if I click here, it is actually calculate selected measure and then the same period last year, which is regular DAX formula for the previous year calculations. And for the year over year growth, it's the formula here, which I'm taking this current variable and the selected measure. And the previous year, this is the calculation, and everything is a DAX here. The only difference what you can see from regular DAX to DAX is we are not calling the measure name directly here. We are just referring to this as a selected measure because the measure name, it will pick up from the visual level itself. So this is the formula. Now, in order to create a new formula, which is like to take here, just copy this one. And here clicking on the calculation item. It is already added here, but still I can just go here and replace that formula. And I want to just give it here as kind of CY minus PY. And here in the formula, you can just use CY minus PY. As simple as that. But here now you must notice one thing is like we need to write the entire DAX function every time, even though the PY it is already defined on this particular item. For now, we cannot able to call back this PY here on the another item. We have to rewrite the formula again. So that's one limitation here. Maybe it will remove in future, but this is actually not available in Tableau editor. We have to rewrite everything every time. Okay, so it is added here. Now you see it has 4 columns. Basically, these are the 4 columns which we're going to show on the visual level. So 4 column here. If I go back to this view, now I can see this is CY, PY, YY percentage, and here I can see the new formula which I added here, CY and PY, and new 2 columns is added here. That's cool, right? But if you look into this visual, I have this calendar here, and I have this color, and I have this 2 internet sales and reseller sales, which is the regular DAX measure, which I can show you here. Internet sales is sum of this formula. Yeah, sum of sales here. That's it, I did here. But here in the column sections, I used the value from the calculation group, the name. Even though you can able to see things in the model view, but you are not able to see those items here at the report level. You can just able to see only the name. You just need to drag and drop into the column sections, and rest everything it will do automatically here. So to avoid some confusion here, so let me just remove this reseller sale for now. And now you can see this, we have current year, previous year, YOY and PY here. These 4 columns here. So if you want to add it for another purpose, which is for the reseller, obviously, so you can also either add that here, or you can also just keep only resellers here. So you don't need to rewrite entire formula for other purpose, right? So that's how you can increase your productivity. So this is how the advantage of using the calculation group. So it really helps in a kind of which are using it for your quarter-based quarter analysis for multiple metrics for your thing. Then you can obviously use that. Not only for this only sales, I can also use it for the quantity as well. Let me see if I have a quantity here, order quantity. So let's drag and drop here. I think it will not work. Yeah, it is good. Actually, I did this one. If you enable this calculation group options, then you are not able to use this explicit measure. Implicit measure. You can't able to drag and drop the measure or the column values into your value sections in any visuals on your entire model. So for that, you need to create separate measures, and that measure you need to use on your every visual. That is the kind of not a good thing, but as for the best practices, we had to create separate measures, and then we had to reuse those things. I think I don't have that here. All right, let me, for example, if I just use this one value dummy measure, let's see what it happens. It's going to give me only this value. So whatever measure which you are going to use here, it will apply the model, everything, the relationship on your model, and it will show you the data. That's how you can able to increase the productivity. But let me just add the internet sales for now, and I will just change the formula here instead of this. Fact internet sales order quantity. All right. So I'm just adding up here order quantity. So let's see how this gives the result here. Oh, so I need this bracket here. I thought it will add automatically, but it doesn't. All right, now this is the quantity value which is showing up here. I don't need to write quantity for the previous year, quantity for last year minus current year, and not even the percentage. I just write one measure and it has taken everything here automatically. That's how cool it is. All right, so I'd like to take the questions at the end because I want to finish the other things. So let's quickly look into the agenda. Yeah, this is an additional one. All right, we'll look into that. Okay, calculation. So next is the DAX Query View. All right. So let me. So previously we were using like DAX Studio in order to write something, whether the DAX worked fine or not. And also there was some limitations. The companies are not allowing to use the DAX tool, which is basically the name here, DAX Studio. Basically, I can see the external tools here and DAX Studio. Now Microsoft has added a new options, which is you can see it here on the left side, another option which is DAX Query View. If you click here, then this will actually open up a query here, and you can also add multiple tabs here, and it will be saved to your model, but this is not going to be visible in Power BI service. All right, so if you want to have this one, which is evaluate DAX in period, this is something which added automatically, I guess. So if I run this one, now I can able to see this option here. So it just gives me the result of this information. But whereas if I type something here like internet sales, fact internet sales kind of thing. So if you want to use the top N features, top 10 of fact internet sales, for example, and click on run. So let me zoom this one. This is the formula and run. Now I'm able to see this top 10 information here. Similarly, if you want to add any kind of measures, that also it is possible here. But if you want to not sure about, if you want to customize some DAX function and you're not sure about the result, for example, if I'd like to see the internet sales, the red internet sales kind of thing, we click here, and here I have an option about quick queries. Let me zoom here. Evaluate, define, and evaluate, and define with reference, and evaluate and define all measures in the model. So I'd like to use here define and evaluate. First of all, I'd like to click on evaluate here. This is going to add a new tab here, and it has added this formula here. This is actually the same formula, summarize column, internet sales and measure. But this is not exact formula. If I go back here and click on the red sales, it is showing up here. Yeah. You see the formula is actually different. Calculate, internet, and filters, this has to be red. But the evaluate is actually the thing which actually runs on the visual level. That's how it actually works. We don't need this evaluate options. Instead of that, we just click here and quick queries and define and evaluate. So now define means it has defined this measure, which is the measure table, and this is the measure name, and this is the tags which I have written here. And this even it has taken the text options as well. That's good thing. And below to this, it has evaluate this option, which is summarize columns. This has taken automatically about this thing, because you cannot able to specify a measure directly in order to run here. For that, it has used this option. So if I run this one, or if I don't need to select anything here. I just need to click on run. So this is what the value it has given here, which is the internet sales rate is the name of the internet sales rate here. And this is the total value which is showing up here. Now, the good part here is if you want to customize something, like if you want to do this as a kind of black, for example, or not red kind of thing. Let me use this option, not red, and click on run. Then you can see the value is changed here. And here also we have an option override the measure here. We can directly override the measure here. This option is really cool because you want to analyze something, you want to check whether the DAX is working fine or not, and then you can click on override the measure. Then this is going to apply that value as well. So these changes can only be undone with additional edit. You cannot use Control Z. Yeah, because this is going to update the model. So click on update model. Now, if I go back here and look into the measure, it will apply this formula as well. This is really cool. So you can define things, you can play around with your DAX calculations if you are not sure about how it works and what will be the result here. Now see, this is the DAX measure and it has applied this formula automatically here, which is not equal to. All right. So if you want to also define all your measures into this one, you can also click any of the visuals and quick views. And here you have option define all measures in this model. I'm clicking on this one. Then it has defined all the measures on my model here with all the calculations. This is pretty cool. If you want to have any kind of documentation for that, you can just click these options, copy and paste it into your documentation. And here in the bottom, you can also see it has generated the values for each and every DAX here. That's really cool. So this is all about your DAX Query View. It has a lot of other benefits as well. You can also check out. I will also give you the description the link for this one. All right, the other two cool things, I'd like to quickly wrap up this on object formatting. This I really want to keep this here in this session is basically, for me, practically, it actually helps a lot because Microsoft has recently modified a lot of things particularly on this visual format options. Like when we are using it, the previous of this format option, it has changed a lot. It is really hard for us to find the things sometimes. I really have seen that. But let's say, for example, this is the calculation view. And if I want to change the title, right? So I can just click here, double click on any of the visuals. Then you can see it has changed this. You can say it has taken a blue borders and square corners here. Then if I click on this top, it is actually giving me to edit this title here itself, internet sales. For example, if I add my name here, I can directly change the value here. And also, if I want to apply any formatting options, then on the right side, you can see this format is actually changing dynamically based on my selection. So I can just change the text color here to be kind of blue. And if I click on the legend here, then it is actually changing the value and giving the option here, the legend on the top, on the right side here in the format options. And if I click on any of these line, it is actually selecting the lines and the marker, and it's also showing up here, the format option here. So I can directly come here and change this color, for example, this to be red, anything else here. And I can also change the value for this as well. All right, and similarly, if I go on to go to the x-axis name, I can directly double click here. I can change the name here, which is basically the month. This has to be month, year, and month. So I can just type it directly here. I don't need to go to the format option and change it manually. I can directly work on the visual level itself. It really helps a lot in order to increase the productivity. All right, you can just play around with any of the visuals. They are still improving these things in visual by visual level. So we can also make use of that. All right. If it is too short for you, let me know in the end. I will also go through that one more time on this. All right. The next thing here is dynamics.
You have enough time, Adnan. You have 15 minutes, so you can still manage it. Don't need to go too fast.
Yeah, obviously.
Context,
but actually, I want to cover this first. That's my kind of important thing for me. Yeah, after that, I can obviously go with again these things. All right. The next thing here is dynamic subscription. For this, I will like to go slow itself. This is also thing recent update from Microsoft. Previously, for example, let's open up this another file, which is a regular file, which I can see. Let me show it here in Power BI search. Yeah, this is the report where I can see I have this 2-page report where I have this, even though, sorry about the alignment of the visuals, it is not proper, but still just want to show you that here. This is actually coming from a table. Let me also edit this one. All right, this is coming from a user table, and this is coming from region access, and this is coming from the region sales, and this is also coming from the region sales and access. Basically, the requirement is like we have built a report, and we also applied the row-level security for those users. And if they want to log in, they have to see only their related data. And this is also applicable for the bank customers as well. Like they are sending every month a bank statement for every customer via an email. Similarly, if they want to send any kind of analytics for every customer, then they had to use previously option about Power Automate to do that. And for this, you need to have Power BI Premium Capacity, Fabric Trial, or Fabric Premium, Fabric Capacity as well. And I believe it has to be Fabric F64 onward, because F64 is equal to P1 in Power BI Premium. So you need to have that minimum license. And even for this thing, which I'm going to show you here, it's also required a Power BI Premium capacity. That's really sad to say, but that's how Microsoft works. So we need to, maybe they will change their mind in future, but for now, we need to have at least Power BI Premium capacity or Fabric capacity. So what will happen for this is, if you subscribe to this report, previously we need to use Power Automate for that, and then send an email automatically based on the data and send it to other users on a scheduled basis. But the same feature they have brought up here in Power BI itself, we don't need any Power Automate license for that. We can directly build your report and start a subscription options. So before to that, I'd like to go give you the demo of the model here, which is this file. This user is actually have only the name of the user, unique email IDs for that user. And this region sale is basically the region and the sales of the amount. Even this is small data. And here I have the role level security part, which is a user and the region. Now the user, which is at gmail.com, my name is basically I have access to 3 regions, north, south, and west. My Hotmail is only have access to east option. That's one thing. After that, I build these reports here and go to modeling tab and click on manage roles. I need to click create the roles here. So basically, we need to use the region access table where we have used the lower options, which is basically because sometimes if it is referring to user principal name, there may be some case sensitive issues. So it is good. I usually prefer to use the lower option because it will convert everything into lower case. Both the side, the column side as well as the login side as well. So this is the name of the column on this table, and this particularly is basically the DAX function. Use the principal name. If you use this here in Power BI Desktop, this is going to return you basically your local Windows PC name. But if you run in Power BI Service, it will give you your logged in user email ID. Generally, that's the thing. So if you refer to the model of this one, the user actually filters to region access, and this region access and sales is actually connected between this region, and this is through user and user. So user filters to the region access and user access filters to the region sales. That's how it actually works. That's how I build a report here and publish into Power BI service, as simple as that. So now the output I will show you here. This is my Gmail ID where I can see it is filtered and given me a report here. And I can see it here on the screenshot of the second page, which is I have 3 regions and one showing up here in this visual. And I can also have the attachment here, which is in PDF. And this is actually the first page and also the second page here. Similarly, if I go to my another email ID, which is my Hotmail, where I can see it here, I have only to East access, East region, and I also have a PDF of 2 different files. That's how cool it is. So how can we do this is basically, so right now, if I go back to the reading view of this report, so you need to be a Power BI, that's the same capacity issue, and you need to be Power BI Pro license you need to have in order to develop the report and publish and share in Power BI service. So after that, we have this subscribe to report. That's a new options. I mean, it was a previous itself, but inside to that, we have a new options. So if I click on the new subscriptions, we have 2 options, which is a standard and dynamic per recipient. This is the new thing. You can see it is still in preview. Right. So standard is nothing but the same thing. We don't have any customization options. We had to send everything without row level security to the users. That's how it is. And if the user use the subscribe options, then obviously it will filter based on the row level security. But being a banking customer, for example, user are not going to log into Power BI service, even they're not going to provide that access. So it is a duty of the Power BI developer in order to use this customization options. So that's why this is the dynamic report subscription option. To click on this option, it will open up this window. So let me select. Yeah. So first here in this window, we need to connect to the recipient data here. So there are 2 things to keep in mind here. One is you need to pass the email IDs, and then you need to use that thing into your model here. Either you can use 2 different data set, which is semantic model for these options, or you can use the same thing. Here I use the same thing because I prefer to do that way itself. Because I know this is the model. If the thing is available inside to this model, the email ID is available for that, then it's going to send us the email for that. So the user table, which contains only unique email ID. So you need also to make sure you are selecting the unique email ID tables here. Because the email ID gets repeated here, then you will also get repeated emails for that. So here, this is basically the data set which I need to select. So selecting this data set and then click on next. And the next what we have here, select and filter the data here. So here I need to select the data, which is I'm going to select this user. And drag and drop here. I can also check here option. So this will actually give me the list of users available inside to that particular data set. I mean, sorry, semantic model. I need to make use of that in order to pronounce it correctly. So here I have the option to add any filters options. They have given an option. So if you want to filter any region particularly, or if you want to filter it even additionally more, like even though for Hotmail, I want to filter it only for the company A, not for the company B. As a kind of static filter you want to do, then you can also do that here. You can just drag and drop and select this option. You can also make use of those filtration option here. Like Adnan has access to 3 regions. If you want to disable one of those things, you can also make use of that option here. But for now, I don't want to do anything here. All right. So this is loading everything. And here we have an option here, choose the data. I would like to map to subscription dynamic field. The following fields can be. So you can have a data model where it contains the email ID, subject of the email, report filters, and attachment file type. So right now we have these many options, but for now I'm just using only email ID here. And if I click on next, then here is the main part, which is the subscription name. We can give it here, which is Power Platform Bootcamp, February 24. I can type it here. And here is recipient. So recipient we can use manually, which is the previous model how what we have. But now we have an option here, get data, get from data. So if I click here, then this is actually taken it from the previous step which we have selected our data, user and user. This is the table name and column name. I'm selecting this here. So it will go on a loop for that particular data, what I have. So the loop option, what I have, so far this is preview. We have a limitations of only 50 users can go at the moment. If it is more than that, then it will not run. So you need to make sure, but this will, the limitation will go away in the general availability, but for now that's a limitations. So like it was said in previous step, we have multiple options to do that. Get data from this. Right now, I don't have any subject which can take it from the data. So I can type it here itself, which is 2402 for example. And I can also type a message here from demo. And what you want to show on the report page and the email itself. So you want to show the report 1 or report 2, or you want to also get it from the data itself. You want to show dynamically based on the user. You can also refer to that. So now I want to show only the page 2 because that is beautifully aligned for now. And you want to link to the report in the email, or you just want to send the information. And also you have a report preview. You want to do that or not. So attachment, full report. Yeah, full PDF report. Or you want to just attach the page 1 or page 2. I think that should be possible here, but still I need to check on that. But for now, this showing up here full report means it will going to send you the full report itself. Yeah, there was ask in previous session like, is there a possibility that we can customize based on that for user 1, page 1, for user 2, page 2 kind of thing? I think that is not yet available. It will come in future. Here I'm going to select here PDF here and then click on next. And here we need to map our data here. If you click on add filter, right now we have set up the model selections, and then we need to map this to our data. So right now this is coming from our report field, which is a user and user. Here I need to select the user and user. So this email ID, which is the looping option, it will actually go and filter our data on this particular table. And then click on next. And we need to schedule when you want to schedule here start and end date, how you want to repeat daily or weekly. This is the same thing which we had it previously. And what is the time you want to specify and your time zone. And you need to make sure this is active, then only it will work. So once you click on that, then you need to review everything one by one. If you want to edit something, then you can also do that. So finally save and close in order to create that. So similar thing which I did here for my previous thing, which I'd like to show you here. If I click on edit this one, where you can see it here, data source is this one, this is the column, and these are all the bits. Everything is same what I have showcased you on this thing. So once you do so, then if you can click here and click on send now, then it will send you the report like this. This is how you can able to use dynamic subscriptions. And this is actually, I'm doing it as an admin, but it is email sending it to different user, even though they don't need to any apply subscription options in Power BI. That's the cool part. Finally, I am on time actually. So I have 3 minutes left, I think. So we can cover if there is any questions on the Q&A. All right.
Yeah. I think there were some. Let me go through. I think there were a lot, to be honest. Yeah, and to be honest, Adnan, this is one of the coolest sessions.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Why is the landing page on Power BI when we use Microsoft Fabric also explain Dataverse used to? Wait. Dataverse will go to that discussion. Wait. Can we implement this thing in direct query? I think you were on the field parameters.
Yeah, field parameters can be implemented.
I
Yeah,
think
we can.
calculation group or yeah.
We can. It's just that we reduce the creation of multiple measures. That's the simple thing. Yeah.
Okay. Does this answer, Venkata, your answer? Venkata, I think okay. Maybe he will type it out. Guys, also we have given you the link in the survey. Can we give running sum in a row context? Again, it came.
Yeah, no, actually we had a discussion of column. Row is basically, this is the one which I have already shown you here. This is basically the running sum at the row level, right? Now, sorry, this one, 469, 936. This is how the running sum is happening at the row level here. That column also is possible here. I will send you the documentation after this call.
Yep. Thanks. I think this could have been gone into 2 hour session also, to be honest, and people would have still enjoyed it a lot, Adnan. So I think
Yeah,
it's really cool. Um, Thanks for presenting to us, taking out the time and making. And I'm sure that you're going to present this to many more sessions today itself over the Power Platform Bootcamp. So
yeah,
thanks a
exactly.
lot. And I think people are gonna have love this one across and would try. I would give it a try a lot. But
Yeah,
always
definitely.
being these just being a preview feature usually at enterprise level they don't allow. Till then
Yeah.
and they are goes to a general public correct. So but that's part and parcel. But I think we will learn it over the period of time for this one.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot
exactly.
again.